Hello and welcome to my first ever booktube video. I'm so excited to be here with you all. My name is Bailey. You can call me Bay. You can find me on bay.books on Bookstagram, and then of course my blog worldofbayblog.com. We'll make sure to put those links down below just in case you want to check those out. For today's video, we're going to be going over my June TBR, which honestly is a little crazy because I never follow an actual TBR, even though I give myself one every single month. But you know, it's got to change, right? I've got to stick to a TBR at least once in my life, so we're gonna give it a try today. How we're actually going to pick our TBR prompts is I just have a little TBR jar with a bunch of prompts that I found that I think would be interesting. I'll just pick a prompt out from that jar, we'll assign it a book, and then I'll probably only do 5 picks each month, just because, like I said, I really struggle keeping a TBR, and so I think 5 would be the most manageable amount that I can do. Also, another rule that I like to point out is I will not be punishing myself if I don't finish my TBR, just because I might not be able to, but we'll see. Before we dive into our June TBR picks, I would really like to go over what I actually read in May. Now, in May, I actually only finished one book so far, and that was Happy Place by Emily Henry. I did end up rating this a 4.5 stars. Not my favorite from her, and actually not my worst. I don't want to dive too far into this, as I'm pretty sure everybody's reading this right now. It was a highly anticipated read, so I don't want to give away any spoilers. But you know what? It ended up being pretty good. I didn't really know if I was gonna like this book just because it was that second chance romance. I assumed it would be more like enemies to lovers, which it had a little bit in there, but ultimately these people really did love each other, and I thought it was a really cute book. It also had the found family trope, which I adore. Anything found family, I almost always at least give it a 4 or 5 star, just because I think that's one of my favorite tropes of all time. If you haven't read Happy Place yet, I highly recommend it. Such a cute read. Now, I may have only finished one book, but we still have a couple more days left in the month of May, and so I am actually finishing The Spite House by Johnny Compton. This is the May pick for my book club, which let me just go ahead and plug that right now. I do host my own book club. It's called bays.reading.corner on Bookstagram. We have a wonderful group of people who are already starting to join us. Each month I'll have a different co-host who helps me pick the book, and we try to rotate genres the best that we can. For the book club, we also do reading sprints at least once a week. You are able to read any book you would like during those reading sprints. You can cook, you can clean, and just listen to us talk about the books that we're reading, and just join in on general discussions during that time. We also have a Discord, which I will make sure to post below as well if you'd like to join. It's also in our Bookstagram link as well. So like I said, I'm reading The Spite House for May, and I am honestly loving this book. I've heard quite a few reviews that weren't so keen on this book, which made me a little worried putting it in for my book club. However, people are devouring this book. They are loving it. Again, with The Spite House, I don't want to, go too deep into the synopsis, as I don't want to give away any spoilers, and also because I'm only halfway through. But it's about a dad and his 2 kids who are on the run, and we don't really know why, but they're kind of hurting for money. They end up finding an offer for them to stay in the Spite House and to track down any paranormal activity that might happen in the house. Honestly, I don't know how these people are doing it. I don't know how they're staying in this house. I've already started to lose it, and they've only been in there for like 2 days. I could not do this. I would say this was probably a perfect book to pick for a book club, as all the horror and suspense has already started to bring a lot of discussion into our Discord group and into our reading sprints that we host at least once a week. I'll probably finish this one tonight, fingers crossed. If not, I do have to at least have it finished by Wednesday, which I can definitely get that finished. I'm waiting till kind of the last few days in May to finish this book, mostly so that it's like on the top of my mind when we go into our live book club discussion, which that discussion is going to be on June 3rd around 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for anybody who would like to join us. and that will be hosted on Instagram. For June, we're going to be reading Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. We are super excited to have you guys. If you'd like to learn more about what this book is about, make sure to check all our socials. We have the synopsises up there, and we'll be sharing more about this book as it gets a little bit closer. All right, so one last little bit of housekeeping that we have. I'd like to go over a few books that I would like to get on this TBR. So the first book, of course, is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. Like I said before, this is our book club pick for the month. So no matter what, I'm reading this. If I can get it on our TBR, that'd be even better. The next book that I'd like to get on my TBR is Ace. This is by Angela Chen. I've been trying to read this for over a year. If you can tell, I've already started tapping this book a lot. There's so much in this book that I can relate to, things that I want to mark, things that I want to come back to and remember, but it's so heavy. And so it's been taking me forever, and I really struggle to pick it up, but it's something that I really, really do want to read. And so I need to get to this at some point, and what better time than Pride Month. The last book that I'd like to get on my TBR this month is In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. This just came out at the end of April, and I mean, like, look at those free digits. It's so cute. I am dying to read this one, as I read Under the Whispering Door and House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, and I immediately fell in love with his writing. So I have no doubts that this is going to be an amazing book. All right, and now it's time to pull from our TBR jar. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a good mix. Make sure not to look. All right, our first prompt is gonna be a 5 or more word title. Let's see. I don't know how this camera focuses. So a 5 or more word title. I was already thinking about this. We can go ahead and get In the Lives of Puppets on my TBR. So I'm probably not going to go into the synopsis of these books just because I do like to go into things blind, but I have heard that this is more of a Pinocchio retelling, so we'll see. But I'm pretty sure that I'm going to love this one. All right, it's time to go ahead and pick our second prompt. Give it a good mix. Okay, this one's great. I'm always looking for a reason to pick up a graphic novel or a manga. I don't know how you say that, but let me think about this one for a minute and I'll come back with a couple picks. Okay, so I went and found a couple books for the graphic novel or manga pick. Manga, who knows? So the first one that I have is The First Fruits Basket. This is a book that my cousin let me borrow. This would be only the second manga that I have ever read. I did kind of already start. I got a little over halfway, so this would be a good contender as it would be a very quick read to get through. The second book that I was thinking of is The Girl from the Sea. I just think that the artwork is gorgeous in this one. I'm kind of leaning towards picking The Girl in the Sea as June is Pride Month. Of course, read LGBTQ all year round, but I do like to kind of focus a little bit more on that during June as well. Try to make most of my reads LGBTQ reads. So The Girl in the Sea, The Girl from the Sea. The Girl from the Sea is most likely going to be the pick that I choose. The last book that I was thinking of picking up for this prompt is Nimona. Noah is reading this. He's about halfway through, but I heard somebody say that this was kind of similar to Legends and Lattes, as in the cozy fantasy vibes, which I'm all for. And so it's a pretty good contender, and maybe, who knows, maybe I'll end up reading all 3 of these as quick little reads. All right, the book that I decided to go with for graphic novel is The Girl from the Sea. As I said, this is an LGBTQ book, and I would really love to get as many of those on my TBR as I can for this month. So this is gonna go into my stack. All right, and it's time to pick prompt number 3. Okay, this is perfect. So this one is a borrowed book, if it will. There we go. So this one, a borrowed book. A borrowed book is gonna be actually kind of easy for me. because, like I said, my cousin let me borrow a bunch of her books. So I'm going to read Fruits Basket for this pick. Like I said, I'm already halfway through. I should have just finished for this month, but we'll go ahead and put it on June's. All right, and it's time to pick prompt number 4. Oh gosh. It might be a good thing that we're putting 2 graphic novels on this already. All right, so this prompt. The 4th prompt is a book that intimidates you. I have quite a few of these. Typically, it means that it's a bigger book, maybe it's fantasy. So give me a moment. I'll be right back. For the 4th prompt, a book that intimidates me, I am picking Ace by Angela Chen. As I said before, I want to put this on my TBR, 1, because June is Pride Month, but 2, because I've been trying to read it for a year, and I would really like to learn more about asexuality. But like I said, it intimidates me because it is such a heavy read. I've already been marking it, and there's highlights everywhere. So this is gonna be one that looks short, but might actually take me the whole month to finish. All right, and time for our last prompt, prompt number 5. Okay, so this one I added just for fun. I've seen people review these, so try a cookbook. I have a bunch of cookbooks and I've been really getting into cooking, and so I want to go through and try 3 or 4 meals out of a cookbook and then post kind of like my review about the book in general. So it may not be an actual like reading book, but I'll go through, I'll look through all the recipes, find some really good ones, and see if my boyfriend and my brother actually enjoy them and if it turned out to be a good cookbook. So let me go pick out a cookbook that we're gonna cook from over the next month. So for our 5th and final prompt, we pulled Try a Cookbook. So I went into my kitchen, and I've had this book probably since I was like 12, but we're gonna make a few recipes from cookies, and cookies. So we're just gonna try a bunch of dessert recipes. But I'm so excited this prompt came up because I think that this is gonna be such a fun idea, trying new recipes out of this. So because this isn't an actual book, I think I'm gonna break my own rule, and we're gonna do 6 pulls so that I have 6 actual books, but we can throw this in there as something fun for us to try. Okay, so for our 6th and now final prompt. Awesome. Okay, so this one is a recent purchase. I don't know how people do this. Anyways, so we're gonna do a recent purchase. I did just go to Barnes & Noble last week, and then the week before we went to an independent bookstore. So let me pull out 1 or 2 of those and we'll pick one from those. Okay, so for our 6th prompt, we received the recent purchase prompt, and so I'm going to pick Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. So this book is kind of funny. Noah actually listens to the band Japanese Breakfast, which, from what I've heard, she is the lead singer from that band, which I think is so cool. So I want to read this. We went to a festival that Japanese Breakfast was supposed to be at a few weeks ago. However, we weren't able to get tickets to that day that Japanese Breakfast was playing, so we didn't get to listen to them. But I did get their merch shirt, which was super cute and yellow. And so I told Noah, I'm like, whatever band I pick this merch from, I'm gonna become their biggest fan. So we're gonna start by becoming their biggest fan by reading Crying in H Mart. I'm super excited to get a memoir on this TBR, as I haven't read a memoir since November when the Friends memoir came out, Matthew Perry's memoir came out, and I didn't love Matthew Perry's memoir, so I'm excited to finally pick up another one, especially it being celebrity memoirs. For whatever reason, I'm a sucker for celebrity drama. All right, it's time for a quick recap. So for our first prompt, we had a book that has a title of 5 or more words, so we picked In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. For our Next prompt, we had a graphic novel / manga, so we picked A Girl from the Sea. For our third prompt, it was a borrowed book, so we're picking Fruits Basket. And then a book that intimidates me, we're picking Ace. A recent purchase is Crying in H Mart. And then our one random prompt that we got was a cookbook. So I decided to do 6 prompts and we picked cookies, cookies, and cookies. And I'll try a few recipes from this and give you my thoughts on this overall cookbook. Thank you so much for joining me today on my first ever booktube video. I hope to see you next time. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button to get notifications for the next video. See ya!